The Miami Dolphins released their first depth chart ahead of their Week 1 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And on today's show, we are going to have the 5 biggest takeaways from that first depth chart. I am Nic ROhloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. And if you know a friend, a family member that may have missed the depth chart being released late yesterday afternoon, well, make sure you share this video so they get to see the biggest parts of the depth chart. Goal is to get 35 shares today. Help spread the word here of Dolphins Today. All right, the 5th takeaway, and the least important on this list of 5, is Braxton Berrios being listed as the starting kick returner and starting punt returner. And this one is a little bit surprising to me. Not in a big way. Like, it's not that shocking because that's really the only thing that Berrios brings to the table. But I thought Malik Washington, the rookie from Virginia, had a really good chance due to how electric he looked as a kick returner and punt returner during the preseason, and it just looked like he was the more flashy, the player that could make a big play and really turn a game more than Braxton Berrios. Malik Washington, though, wasn't even listed as the full backup. He is the backup punt returner on the depth chart, but actually in the kick return game, De'Von Achane is listed as that second return man, with Malik Washington be the third guy. But Braxton Berrios looks like he's going to get the nod in the Week 1 game against Jacksonville, and he was the main return man for Miami a year ago. And I wanted to see how he performed last year according to PFF, and Pro Football Focus actually graded him out pretty average, I'd say. 57.3 grade on kickoff returns and 71.6 on punt returns. But obviously, with the new kickoff rules in the NFL, the return game potentially has a much larger impact on the outcome of these football games. I'm still intrigued to see the strategy behind it. Will teams just kick it through the end zone and say, hey, you can start to 30? Or will they take the gamble and try to kick it just short of the end zone and kind of trust their return and special teams coverage to keep them before the 30-yard line? But either way, Miami has so many dynamic returners with Berrios, Malik, and De'Von Achane. I hope teams don't kick it through the end zone for Miami. But specifically on Malik Washington, do you think he should be the lead returner? Type Y for yes or type N for no? I actually believe he should be, but I understand having Berrios, the veteran, start off the season doing it. Another takeaway, Mo Kamara, the 5th-round pick out of Colorado State, is actually listed behind Quinton Bell on the EDGE depth chart. And this is the exact pecking order that the depth chart showed for Miami. Jalen Phillips at the first guy. Emmanuel Ogbah was number 2. Rookie Chop Robinson was 3. But then you see right there, Quinton Bell was just slightly above Mohamed Kamara. We've talked about Bell quite a bit in the preseason and training camp. This is someone that I didn't even expect to have a roster spot, but he played so well in the preseason, so well at practice and in joint practices during camp that he was guaranteed a roster spot with Bradley Chubb starting the year on the PUP list. Now, even though Quinton Bell is ahead of Mo Kamara on the depth chart, I do expect all 5 edge rushers to see playing time. We know Jalen Phillips is likely going to be on a pitch count since this is his first game back since tearing his Achilles last year against the New York Jets. He says he's completely fine, but I still think Miami's going to take some precaution in Week 1 of the season, not going all in and playing him 60-plus snaps. So I'd expect to see a nice solid rotation of Chop, Kamara, Quinton, and then obviously Ogbah and Jalen Phillips. Another takeaway here, Storm Duck, the UDFA from Louisville, who made this football team as he was a spectacular during training camp in the preseason. He's actually listed as cornerback 3, and not cornerback 3, but 3rd on the depth chart. This is exactly how it was laid out from the Dolphins when they released that depth chart. Jalen Ramsey and Kendall Fuller, your 2 starting boundary corners. Kader Kohou is your nickel. Ethan Bonner and Siran Neal are the first names behind Ramsey and Fuller, with Storm Duck being in that 3rd little level. But that's interesting to me, not because Storm Duck is buried, but because there's no backup nickel listed. So the Dolphins are not showing their hand, per se, if Kader Kohou goes down with an injury or just plays horrible football. Who is ultimately going to be that nickel in those situations? Could it be a Javon Holland? Could it be a Marcus May? Could it be Jordan Poyer? Or is it going to be one of those corners? Because if we're going to be honest here, Ethan Bonner's a boundary guy. So is Siran Neal. Now, Storm Duck maybe could play in the nickel if he needs to be, but Kader Kohou becomes one of the more important players on his defense because I'm not so sure who would be that starting nickel if Kader Kohou ever went down with an injury. So let's hope that never happens. Game Time is the only place where you can find your tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. And with the game starting up this weekend, make sure you use Game Time to get those tickets. And they make things so easy for you to purchase your tickets, especially with their new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All-in pricing is my favorite feature, though, because it shows your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Also has great seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And I use Game Time whenever I go to a comedy show, a concert, a sporting event. For example, I was in Las Vegas this past weekend. Went to go see LSU USC in week 1 of college football. What did I use? Of course, Game Time, because I knew for 1,000% certainty that I was getting the best deal and I was getting the best bang for my buck because they have the lowest price guaranteed. And they're actually offering a really cool deal for all of you at home right now. When you use code CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off your first purchase. So download Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Liam Eichenberg was named the starting right guard on the first official depth chart, and this should come to absolutely no surprise. With Aaron Brewer likely playing on Sunday, Liam Eichenberg is your starting right guard. I know we had a lot of talk about it before training camp with Isaiah Wynn likely going to be your starting left guard, Robert Jones, Eichenberg, Jack Driscoll all fighting for that right guard spot. But with Isaiah Wynn still on the PUP list and missing the first 4 games of the season at bare minimum, Robert Jones is your starting left guard. So with Aaron Brewer back into the fold after his status was a little up in the air, Liam Eichenberg is starting right guard. And I think he's earned it. It's unfortunate because I don't really think he's that good, but he has been better than Lester Cotton in training camp and in the preseason. And we've stated this quite a bit. We all can agree. This interior offensive line is one of the worst in all of football, and it's the worst part of this Miami Dolphins football team. Like, when you rank every single position group, this is by far the worst. And that's no disrespect. It just could also be because how good the other position groups are for the Miami Dolphins. But this 3-man group is the best Miami has, which is a little bit sad to say because Robert Jones at left guard and Eichenberg at right guard doesn't sound that great. I do actually like Aaron Brewer at center. I thought he was pretty good in Tennessee the past couple of years. But we'll have to see how it plays out for Miami. Moral of the story, though, it'd be nice if Chris Greer went out and traded for a right guard that is actually starting caliber and serviceable. But hopefully Liam Robert prove us wrong to start the year. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we have daily coverage of the Miami Dolphins, and we are trying to get to 59K before kickoff on Sunday afternoon. We're 370 subscribers away. If you want daily Dolphins coverage, sometimes even multiple videos a day, because we're going to bring another video tomorrow with a preview of Jaguars Dolphins. So hit that sub button so you never miss a thing of the Miami Dolphins. All right, the final takeaway, and the number one thing that surprised me, is Jonnu Smith being listed as F. And I do need to put up a little bit of a hand up. I was wrong. Because when I officially saw the first depth chart, I tweeted out the picture of the depth chart and said Jonnu Smith listed as fullback is wild. That actually isn't the case. And Travis Wingfield kind of laid it out perfectly for all the Dolphins fans. And he does an excellent job of covering the team. So if you have not followed him on Twitter, you better be doing it because he's fantastic. He says F does not mean fullback, just FYI. Another name for the F is a move tight end as they move all over the formation. So a little bit clearing up there for Travis Wingfield. And I'll also say this. It was interesting to see Jonnu Smith listed behind Alec Ingold on the F position. That's also where Tanner Conner was listed behind Jonnu Smith. But I do expect Smith to be someone who is featured quite a bit in this offense. I think we saw a very small glimpse of it in that preseason game, week 2 against Washington, when Tua Tagovailoa was out there with the starters for one drive. Smith is going to be featured on screens, pop passes, over the middle of the field, end arounds. I am really high on Jonnu Smith's ability to impact this offense this year. I think he's going to provide something Miami hasn't had under Mike McDaniel in the first 2 seasons as a solid, big tight end. Remember, he's one of the best yak guys. We talk about it every time we bring him up. But it's him, Kelsey, George Kittle as the best tight ends with yak in the NFL. All right, we are getting closer and closer to game time here on Sunday. Who you got? Type MIA for the Dolphins or JAC for the Jags. I better see a lot of MIAs down in the comment section. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Like I said, we're dropping multiple videos a day here, breaking down everything for the Miami Dolphins. And we'll be live for Sunday's Week 1 game against Jacksonville. Join me, and Joey Peterson for the best Dolphins content here at YouTube.